quick, easy and life-changing are how food intolerance home test kits are being sold to us. But are the results they return worth spending the money on?
Dr. Nighat has been investigating and joins us now. Morning to you.
Morning.
There has been a proliferation?
There's been a huge uptake of
That's
this.
what I meant to say.
250% increase in searching about food intolerance tests, and I've seen this in my clinics as well. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, had parents who'd come in very well-meaning, absolutely well-informed, who'd done a hair sample on their 6-month-old because they're weaning him, and had come back because they wanted now further tests in the NHS to look for cow protein allergy, because one of the tests said that when they're weaning him, he made his diarrhea go slightly a different colour, and they were worried that he was intolerant to something. And I think that sort of is the scope that we're dealing with, because then you don't want people to be cutting out food groups, especially at that stage. And these tests are very difficult to sort of understand in regards to what they actually do.
And we're not talking food, we're not talking food allergies, we're talking food intolerance.
So let's really be clear about this.
Yeah.
Food allergies is an allergic reaction, which is life-threatening, and that's because your immune system is reacting against something. So the most common one people know, peanuts, right?
Yeah.
That's a food allergy, to the point where you can have some symptoms all the way up to an anaphylaxis. That's when your airways tighten up, your breathing becomes difficult, your tongue becomes swollen. You must call 999, an ambulance, if you're seeing someone having an anaphylactic reaction. Food intolerance is seen as something that possibly you are sensitive to certain food, or actually you are having side effects in regards to certain ingredients within that food group. So it can cause things like, it gave you a bit of an upset tummy, bloating, it made you fart a bit more, actually changed your wee that day, and also might have made your lethargy, so you're feeling more tired, or your mental health symptoms became slightly worse when you had a certain type of food. Sensitivity is just that actually there are certain things, and it's an umbrella term that we use, that you've eaten something or you've come across something and it's had a negative impact on you. So that could be maybe skin's become affected, maybe bloating. So those are the difference that we're talking about. We're talking about intolerance self-home kits at the moment. So I did 2 kits, just to be very, very clear about it.
So you've done the 2 kits, you've done the test. So these kits, I mean, obviously, it's a well-meaning idea. It's an interesting idea to take control of something.
And absolutely. And in the pandemic, we've seen that. Lots of people are doing at-home COVID tests. They've been doing lots of various sort of smartwatches that we've got.
Better and better at it, haven't we?
And I'm not discounting all that. I say to my patients, it's a good idea to keep a track of what you're doing, keep a symptom diary. And these kits will look at either a blood test all the way to a hair sample. But the price varies so much when I looked online. Anything from, say, £30, and sometimes you can get a deal, all the way up to £300 as well.
And your instinct is probably, if it's £300, it's going to be good. It's going to be a much more...
Exactly. So when I did my 2 tests, I did sort of the medium range, and I did just so I could compare the results, and I had to send off a hair sample, because what they were doing in the hair sample was looking at IgG, which is an immune response to increase to certain food types. And the results were so fascinating.
Go on, tell us more.
Right, so firstly, it said, I can't have alcohol. I mean, hello. I don't drink alcohol, but Malbec is something that I can't have. And veal.
So wine?
Yeah, wine.
You can't have wine, you can't have veal.
So veal, and there was lots of food groups. So at the first result, you get a 30-page document, which is unfortunately a lot of waffle. It doesn't make any sense. Eggs, dairy, I can't have certain fruits like strawberries.
Those are massive food groups.
Yeah, huge food groups. Gluten was in there as well, and I can't have meat, so fish, salmon, within that as well.
Sorry, Nighat, were any of these foods that you had thought in the past?
I have nothing along with that. But the scary thing was one of the tests did pick up the fact that I am quite sensitive to sunflower seeds, and I get sort of a tingling tongue with that. But the other test said, yeah, sunflower seeds are absolutely fine. I think the most important thing is that we don't know how accurate these tests are, and in fact, the Association of UK Dietitians have said, if you can, avoid these commercially available tests. And what my non-randomised, not a hugely scientific test has shown is actually there is no scientific basis behind these at-home self-kits. And the NHS also says, try not to do any of these tests because they're not scientifically based. We don't know what lab that they're using. And the thing that gets me as well is that a lot of my data now has been passed around on these groups, with these groups, because I'm just getting a lot of things about food intolerance And the kits at the end sort of recommended that have an elimination diet.
Waste of money then?
Waste of money, absolute waste of money. So please don't do them.
Done and dusted. Don't do it.
Dr. Nighat, thank you for doing that investigation for us.
Thank you very much.